Hello and welcome back. This is Chapter First, The Lost Child, written by Ch-1. And now I'm going to explain part 4. So here we go. There was no reply. He turned to look at his parents. They were not there ahead of him. He turned to look on either side. They were not there. He looked behind. There was no sign of them. So here this line says, this time there came no reply from his parents, and when he looked back, there was no sign of them. Anxiously, he looked all around him, but they had disappeared unexpectedly. Next part now. A full, deep cry rose within his dry throat, and with a sudden jerk of his body, he ran from where he stood, crying in real fear, "Mother! Father!" Tears rolled down from his eyes, hot and fierce. His flushed face was convulsed with fear. Panic-struck, he ran to one side first, then to the other, hither and thither in all directions, knowing not where to go. "Mother! Father!" he wailed. His yellow turban came untied and his clothes became muddy. So here this line say, suddenly he became all alone, and this consciousness gripped him in complete terror. With a shriek of his cry and jerk of his body, he ran from there, crying in fear. There were tears in his eyes. With fear, his face had turned red, and muscles of it moved in sudden strange movement. Not knowing what to do and where to go, he ran from one side of the fair to the other in that crowd. He called out, "Mother! Father!" in painful cries. Running uncontrollably amidst the crowd and muddy field, his clothes had become muddy, and the yellow turban slipped off his head as it got loose. Next part now. Having run to and fro in a rage of running for a while, he stood defeated, his cries suppressed into sobs. At little distances on the green grass he could see, through his filmy eyes, men and women talking. He tried to look intently among the patches of the bright yellow clothes, but there was no sign of his father and mother among those people who seemed to laugh and talk just for the sake of laughing and talking. So here this line say, after running for a while from pillar to the post, he gave up all his efforts and stood defeated. Now his cries turned into sobs, into whimpers. Then he could see people standing at a distance on green grass talking. His vision was blurry from crying for a while. He tried to search his parents among those people in bright yellow clothes through such eyes, but without a success. They were simply enjoying their time there. Next part now. He ran quickly again, this time to a shrine to which people seemed to be crowding. Every little inch of space here was congested with men, but he ran through people's legs, his little sob lingering, "Mother! Father!" Near the entrance to the temple, however, the crowd became very thick. Men jostled each other, heavy men with flashing, murderous eyes and hefty shoulders. So here these lines say, this time he decided to search his parents at the heavily crowded temple, where not even an inch of space was available to move through, but he made his way somehow through people's legs while still sobbing as he moved on. But at the entrance the crowd became very thick, with people pushing one another with their heavy shoulders. Next part now. The poor child struggled to thrust a way between their feet, but, knocked to and fro by their brutal movements, he might have been trampled underfoot, had he not shrieked at the highest pitch of his voice, "Father! Mother!" A man in the surging crowd heard his cry, and, stooping with great difficulty, lifted him up in his arms. So here this line say, moving on from there, then became very tedious job. He was knocked between the legs of people as people struggled to make their way through. The situation had become so worse that he was nearly trampled, if only he had not shouted at the top of his voice, calling out for parents. One of the men from the crowd lifted him up in arms with great difficulty. Next part now. "How did you get here, child? Whose baby are you?" the man asked as he steered clear of the mass. The child wept more bitterly than ever now, and only cried, "I want my mother, I want my father." So here these lines say, the man, a stranger, wanted to know from him how he reached near the temple and whose baby he was. The man asked while walking back to the open area. The child only cried more bitterly he now, and only replied he wanted his mother, he wanted his father. Next part now. The man tried to soothe him by taking him to the roundabout. "Will you have a ride on the horse?" he gently asked as he approached the ring. The child's throat tore into 1,000 shrill sobs, and he only shouted, "I want my mother, I want my father." So here this line say, the stranger tried to comfort him by taking him to the roundabout for a ride. Then, wanting to know, he asked gently if he would have a horse ride there. But the child had the only thought in mind going, that was he wanted to meet his parents, and so replied that he wanted his father and his mother back only. So this is all for now. Thank you.